In many of my videos, I talk about how Power Platform has a very shallow learning curve. But if you're truly starting from zero, it can be really daunting to get started with, or even to understand why you might be interested in getting started with this in the first place. So in this video, I'm going to go back to basics and talk about learning Power Platform from the ground up. I'm going to explore why you might want to start this journey and how this may be a good time to do so, who this journey of learning might be for, what specifically you may want to focus on learning, and the different approaches on how you could go about this learning process. So why might you be interested in starting your journey with Power Platform? Well, at a foundational level, whatever your role is, whether you're an individual contributor, a team leader, or even a business owner, being interested in Power Platform is probably connected to business processes that you have or that you're involved in that aren't as efficient or robust as you want them to be. And that may be about getting data into your systems, it may be about how different systems talk to one another, or it may be even to do with the reporting that happens on the data that you've got or the processes that you've got in place. But ultimately, what Power Platform can help you to do is to make some of what you're doing more efficient, more robust, and more connected. And depending on your business, your systems may mean lots of different things. You may have a paper-based system. You may be just using lots of different Excel spreadsheets, or you may have more complex line of business applications that simply don't talk to one another. You might be wanting to improve a process you've been doing for years, or you might want to be coming up with something new that's connected to a new product or service your business is going to be rolling out. And you may be dealing with 20 years of historic data, or you might just be starting up a brand new business. At any of these points, Power Platform can give you help and Power Platform can give you answers. So there are lots of different types of people that might be interested in looking at Power Platform. If you're an individual contributor, you're probably not going to be thinking about systems and processes across the entire organization. But there might be certain things that you're involved in that you're either doing personally or where you connect with other people in your organization where you want to improve, either because your process is a little bit clumsy or just because you're spending a lot of time on busy work and that time could be better spent on doing something where you add more value. So in that case, it may be as simple as you have a few Power Automate flows where you automate some of your work, and that's all you need to look at. If you're a team leader of a team of people who are engaged in doing different types of processes across an organization, then you may want to think about Power Platform as a way to standardize the way that things get done, to make your processes more robust and more resilient, and just to make sure that you're doing things in the most efficient way possible. You may be thinking about automations, but you might also be thinking about building apps that either connect your team members together or enable your teams to connect with other people outside, whether they be customers or other people in your organization. We're all being asked to do more with less. And the only real way that you can effectively do more with less is by making what you do as efficient and robust as possible. And if you're a business owner, you're going to be interested in squeezing as much efficiency as possible out of your business while creating conditions where your employees feel valued while being able to delight your customers. And the only real way to do that is to give your employees, your team members, better tools to do their job. Power Platform can do just that. It can enable you to put out a set of tools that are very much customized for your business and the different jobs that have to be done within it. And so from that, you can deliver robust efficiency while making your employees, your team members feel valued by giving them those tools that really align what they're trying to do, enabling them to give the best experiences to your customers. So wrapping your head around Power Platform can be a little challenging as it includes so many different capabilities. But if you break it down into its different component tools, it can be a lot easier to understand. And because it's a collection of tools, you might not really need to focus on all of them. There may be some that are a lot more relevant to what you're trying to do right now than others. And just as you can be a great carpenter without knowing a thing about welding, or you can be a fantastic plumber and not be knowledgeable at all about electrical work, for most of those specific use cases, you don't need to be an expert across this entire range of tools. You can really focus in on developing your expertise or understanding in some of them and grow that understanding over time as you need to. Power Automate lets you automate processes. You create these automations by building visual workflows of the different steps that you go through to do a process. And you can connect together different data sources and different platforms that you may use to do whatever job it is that you're doing. So think, for example, if you get an email from a certain person, you want to automatically send that into a team. Or if you create a document about a particular topic, you want that to get approved by a certain set of people before it can be sent out to a customer. These are the types of things that you can do in Power Automate. And it's very easy to get started because Power Automate has a rich ecosystem of templates that have been created both by Microsoft and users of the system to help you do lots and lots of different types of tasks. Power Apps lets you build apps that can be used inside your business with no or very little code. There are two types of Power Apps. Canvas apps are apps that you build visually and you can make them look exactly how you want them to look. Think about different apps that you already have that you bring up on your phone that are very customized for whatever business or use case that you have. And the other type of app is a model-driven app. And it's called a model-driven app because how the app works and what it does is driven by the data model that's underneath it. There isn't such a potential to customize those apps, but they're very good for standardizing the data entry and the data recall that you might have for different processes that you're involved in. You can build apps that you can use on your phone, on a tablet, or on your PC. And it's a very scalable solution. Power BI lets you tell the story of your business with data. It's a data reporting tool that allows you to pull in data from lots and lots of different sources and then bring it together in such a way that it can tell different stories about what's going on. You can think of it as a really big upgrade on Excel tables and charts in terms of being able to present data to whichever audience you need, and it has powerful capabilities to share reporting across your organization. Microsoft Dynamics 365 customer engagement isn't really part of Power Platform, but if you're thinking about Power Platform projects, it is important to at least have some understanding of what Microsoft 365 customer engagement does. So Microsoft Dynamics 365 customer engagement, or Dynamics 365 CE, is the app or set of apps that Microsoft builds on the same foundation as Power Platform that provides their CRM or customer relationship management and other customer engagement apps. And the reason that you want to know about this is in many cases, once organizations become a little bit familiar with Power Platform and start to enjoy rolling it out across their organization, is that they will get big ambitions as to what they want to build. And suddenly something that's a very basic contact tracking app might have aspirations of being built into something that can separate out multiple contacts from the companies that they are related to, or tracking all of your communications, or sending out proposals to clients. And you can certainly spend time and effort and money building all of that yourself in Power Platform using Power Apps and Power Automate and different technologies. But tools that are very much like that are already part of Dynamics 365. So the right way of thinking about those big projects is to start with the building blocks that organizations like Microsoft or third-party software vendors have created for the Power Platform ecosystem, and then you can customize and modify and expand as you need to. Dataverse is the data platform that sits underneath Power Apps, Power Automate, and Dynamics 365. And it's much more than a database, it's a data platform that's been designed specifically for how you might work with your business systems in Power Platform. So it allows you to easily store and interrelate your data without having to worry about a lot of the database management that you would have to think about if you simply were to set up, say, a Microsoft SQL server. The common data model is an important component of Dataverse. And what this is a set of interrelated tables, data entities that Microsoft has established as part of Dynamics 365 that are also part of each of your Dataverse databases. So what this means is that you have the common entities and the common relationships between different types of data that you might use in a business solution already built there in Dataverse. And you can take advantage of them in any of your Power Platform projects, whether you're using Dynamics 365 or not. So those are the basic building blocks of Power Platform, but there are also more specialized components that you should probably also know about. Power Automate Desktop is a subset within Power Automate, which gives you RPA or robotic process automation capabilities. And what this means is instead of using web interfaces between different systems to move data around or to do processes, what RPA gives you the capability to do is for a computer to use a desktop computer in much the same way that an end user would. With RPA, you can actually kind of fake the end user. The computer will learn where the different buttons and the different form fields are in your piece of legacy software and enable you to take data from the cloud and enter it into your software on the computer, or take data from the software that you've got on the computer and send it out into the cloud. Power Virtual Agents are really chatbots. If you've ever been to a website and you've seen one of those pop-ups come up in the bottom corner that says, hey, do you want to chat? And then you start typing away and it tells you you're actually talking to a bot instead of a human. That's what Power Virtual Agents really is as part of the Power Platform. And what this lets you do is to stand up those chatbots that you could use on your website or you could use in lots of different platforms, including Microsoft Teams if you want to do something that's internal to your organization. And you can connect it to the other data that you have in Power Platform. You can connect it to things like Power Automate flows if you wanted to do something as you're chatting away, but it gives you the technology to have those conversations with a bot integrated with certain pieces of AI technology to help you have a good conversation flow between the bot and the end user. And lastly, Power Pages. What Power Pages lets you do is to take the capabilities of your apps and your flows and your data in your solutions and stand them up on a public-facing website. So generally what you're doing with Power Automate or Power Apps, or even in most cases Power BI, these are solutions that you're focusing within your business. They are your licensed end users or licensed users in other organizations that you're working with who are looking at these tools, who are working with them day to day. With Power Pages, you can push this out to your customers. So say you have an app that you've built that is managing a membership organization, and you have agents inside your organization who are able to take phone calls and modify the bookings, modify the membership tiers that members of the public have. With Power Pages, you could have the capability of allowing those customers to log into a website and be able to see and manipulate the same data that your agent is dealing with from within your organization. So there is an incredibly rich fabric of resources out there to help you learn Power Platform. I'm someone who generally learns by doing, and certainly a lot of my initial learning when it came to Power Platform was through just rolling my sleeves up and getting stuck in. And because Power Platform is included to some level with most Microsoft 365 subscriptions, if you have Microsoft 365 and the settings have been left to default in that you have access to Power Platform, then you can just get stuck in and start trying it out. Microsoft does have 2 programs that enable you to get the tools to get started with Power Platform for free and to start trying things out without it having any impact on your existing business tenant or business environment. The first one is the Power Apps or Power Platform Community Plan or Developer Plan, which is an extra license that you can get and self-assign to yourself within your existing Microsoft 365 tenant, which gives you access to Power Platform, Power Apps. It gives you a Dataverse environment that you can work in. And this allows you to try things out without it having any impact on where your business data resides in Power Platform. You are logged into your own Microsoft 365 tenant while you're doing this. So if you do log into any connectors, say you're working with Microsoft Bookings or something like that, then you can access your Microsoft 365 data, but everything from a Power Platform perspective will be inside your own developer tenant. If you want even more separation from your Microsoft 365 tenant, or if you're just not allowed to set up a developer account within your business tenant, then there's another program called the Microsoft 365 Developer Plan, which enables you to get a Microsoft 365 E5 subscription for free, which is designed for you just to use for development and testing purposes. So you could become the administrator of your own Microsoft 365 tenant, so long as you continue to use it for development purposes. So if you build apps and you build automations in there, then they will continue to renew it, so you can keep using it. And you can get up to 25 users in this plan, so you can have a few users there that you test for different things, or if you want one user that's building the app and one user that's using the app, you can set that up and you can do that yourself. Now, bear in mind, neither of these plans are designed to be used for production. At the point that you want to move something to production, the expectation is that you are going to add paid licensing into your tenant. When you log in to Power Automate or Power Apps, some of the most prominent things that you see on screen is access to learning resources that Microsoft has put together. Microsoft is extremely committed to giving everyone the resources they need to use these technologies. And obviously they have a vested interest in this, as if you use these technologies in your business, they're going to get more licensing fees from you. But that is the case for all technology companies, and certainly not all companies do as good a job as Microsoft in surfacing materials that can help you learn about their products. So all of these resources will take you to Microsoft Learn, and that is where you want to go for documentation, for examples, for help about these products. And you can really learn a lot from these resources. And if all you want to do is to build something small for yourself or for a small business, then you can probably get all of the information that you need from Microsoft Learn. Additionally, if you head over to the Virtual Training Days website, Microsoft regularly puts on free training that you can connect to. It's a webinar type training that will help you with things like creating an app, or understanding the different components of Microsoft 365 or Power Platform. And one of the great things about these trainings is, for certain of them, if you're also interested in getting a Microsoft certification, then they will give you free access to the certification exam just for taking the training. Now, that doesn't apply to all of them, but if you want to do something like the PL 900, which is the Power Platform Fundamentals training and certification, that if you do that webinar-based training, generally they give you a free exam voucher for that as well. Now, talking about certification, doing the Microsoft certifications in Power Platform can be a really good way to make sure that you've gone through the range of things you need to learn to develop expertise in the different aspects of Power Platform. So the PL 900 is really the starting point. That's the Power Platform Fundamentals. and then you can move on to a range of different ones. It certainly isn't necessary to take these certification exams unless you want to for your own personal benefit, or if there's something that you need because of your job or a job that you want to get into. But I would really advocate, if you're interested in the content of these different exams, working through the learning paths that are on Microsoft Learn can be a really good way of learning new skills with Power Platform, and can be important to learn the things that are vital to really understanding how the different components of Power Platform interrelate to one another. But you're not going to necessarily learn just by doing all the time. YouTube can be a great place to learn Power Platform. And obviously you're here on my channel watching a video about Power Platform, and I have a number of others that you might be interested in. But there are channels that are far bigger and more popular than mine that are focused exclusively on Power Platform. A channel like Shane Young's, for example, has, I think, over 100,000 subscribers. And he puts out lots of really good content on building apps using Power Platform. So there is lots of content out there, and I think one of the things that I really like about Power Platform and Microsoft 365 in general is there's a really generous community of people who are out there who are willing to help you learn. And then the last thing that I will focus on is paid training. And this can really be a number of flavors. There are services like Udemy and Coursera that you can join that certainly do have courses about aspects of Power Platform, and courses more generally about digital transformation and the things that may be important to you if you're thinking about Power Platform projects that are more related to how a business runs. And these can be very useful. And there are also trainings that are very much focused on the certifications that Microsoft offers. You aren't limited to just doing a learning path. For example, if you want to learn PL100 App Maker Associate, there is a learning path that you can do on Microsoft Learn. But there is also a training that a Microsoft certified trainer can deliver to help you do that either in person or virtually. And there are a number of different companies that offer these types of trainings and have Microsoft certified trainers that can offer you those different types of trainings. And then beyond this, there are lots of other services that can offer training that's a bit more customized to your need. There are organizations that you can go to, generally Power Platform or different types of solution consultants, that will offer training into your organization. One of the things that I focus on in my practice, for example, is I'm not just about building things for you. A lot of the work that I do is about educating you and your team so that if we start using Power Platform for something in your business, I don't just want it to be something that I have to come back and help you with every time you want to change, or every time there's something that changes within your business. I want to make sure that you have the skills within your organization to make Power Platform part of your practice of improvement rather than just something you outsource. So I hope you're excited to start your Power Platform journey. I think all of us who are part of this great Power Platform community continue to be on a learning journey. There's no point that anyone says, hey, I'm done, there's no more to learn, because these are evolving products. There are things that change and develop over time, and that's why it's so exciting to be working with these products day to day. I will put links to all of the resources that I mentioned in this video below. Please, in the comments, do add your own. If there are things that you've used that you find very helpful, do drop them in the comments. If there are specific questions, then please drop them there as well. I will try to offer guidance if you do have specific questions about training or learning that I can help with. But hopefully this has been useful to you and will help you to start your own journey to learning Power Platform. I hope to see you developing apps and developing automations soon. And until next time, bye bye.